Hey guys, there are some really good quotes about living. For example, Oscar Wilde says, "To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist." There's one that also says, "In the end, we only regret the chances we didn't take." How about life is short, break the rules? Or lastly, enjoy the little things in life, for one day you may look back and realize they were the big things. In today's episode of Real Life Talks with Brandon, live a funeral, a wedding, a reunion. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Real Life Talks with Brandon. I'm Brandon, and it's so good to see you guys. You know, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Forrest Gump was pretty right about that. And with life, so many things can happen, whether it be ups or downs, left or rights. You kind of never know where it's going to go until it happens. And today, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about life. I want to talk about living. And if you saw in our title, there's three major events wrapped around life, which is pretty interesting that I've experienced. What you probably won't see, and it might be more in the description if you check that out, is that underneath all of that, uh, there's a little amendment I want to add, and I want to add an amendment that says an ode to Joe. That was my dad's name, Joe. And for those of you that do know, I did lose my dad last year. As a matter of fact, this episode um, is almost a year to the day that I lost my dad, and I'll never forget the words that I gave at his funeral. And the words were to live. That's basically how my dad lived. He lived to live. He lived enjoying life for himself, for for his wife, my mom, for others and for his family. And it's crazy how this past week I've done so much traveling, and it feels so good to finally just sit down, rest, take a moment, and not move anywhere. But to go back to that day, to go back to the words that I spoke to everyone at that funeral, you know, life is short. Regardless of what age you see it to, whether you see it to your 50s, your 70s, or even to your hundreds, life is short. Life is fleeting. And I'm sure we've talked about it numbers of times, you know, on this show where we've talked about, to take time to enjoy life, to live. That's basically the main theme of this show is to enjoy your life, to get it up and going and moving. And when I think back to what I've said at that service, that my dad was the type of guy that just basically did what he wanted to do. When people told him stop cutting the grass, stop doing this, stop doing that, he would find the moment that nobody was around, and he'd do it. When we say, "Dad, now if you need me to cut the grass, just let me know. I'll cut the grass." He'd still go out and do it. Go out in the push mower and just push the grass, and no problem at all. At one point, I found out he even decided to change, if I'm not mistaken, the tires on his car, and I'm like, "What are you doing? You were..." Now I know for some of you that are listening to this, depending on your age, you might be like, "Oh, don't you dare say it," where it's like you're too old to be doing that. And I'm sure I've said on this show before that you're not too old to do anything. But also at a certain point in time, you are probably too old to be changing tires on a car by yourself. Either let someone help you or let a trained professional do it. But that was my dad. He didn't he didn't really give a hoot. He said, "You know what? I'm doing it. I'm fine. I am absolutely fine. I can do it." I remember one time, I was going through a season of my life, and I was kind of talking with my dad about it. And, my dad was the one guy that always would say, "I got your back no matter what. I'm your champion." You do what you need to do, and I got you. I'm standing with you 100%. And I had made a decision, and I was like, it's weird that for the first time in my life, I don't have to do something. That I don't have to, for lack of better words, report for duty. And his words to me were, "You're gonna get used to that. You're gonna like it when you finally get to, do stuff for you." And I was like, "Dang, man, you know what? You're right." I've been in this season lately where I've been enjoying more of the finer things of life that I've wanted to do. Nothing fancy, please understand. I'm not talking about I'm going out here buying these lavish, extravagant experiences to go and do. But I've found myself maybe going out to eat now by myself. Something that I would have never done before. Never. But I've started going to one of our local haunts by myself sometimes and just enjoying the time by myself. Of course, I'm a shopper. I like to go shopping by myself. Usually it's just window shopping, but I've learned that there's some things I'm enjoying doing by myself, and that there's now adventures and things that I kind of want to do by myself. Nothing crazy still, but to go out and enjoy life by myself, for myself, while a foreign concept is actually not that fleeting. It's not bad. I found myself about 2 weekends ago at my best friend's wedding. And the crazy thing about the wedding is that the most exciting part, I won't say the more exciting, the most exciting part of it was that we're all close friends. So we were all going to be back together and just living it up like old times. And we were just having a night of it. We were just having a good time, laughing, chatting, talking, bringing up memories of the past, talking about the present and what's up to come. And one of the things that it made me think about that weekend with the wedding is that while it's also fun and good to live for yourself, that it's also good to live for one another. You know how they always say in the wedding, to have and hold, to death do us part, blah, 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 and stuff like that. But to live for each other means to live codependently and independently. When you marry somebody, when you're in a relation with somebody, whether it be platonic or romantic, the one thing that you always enjoy is each other's company. You enjoy being together. You enjoy doing life together, things together. You enjoy doing the things that you love the most together, whether it's something that they enjoy, or it's something you enjoy, or it's something you both enjoy. To introduce somebody to something new in their life, that's something that you like, has to be one of the greatest feelings, because then you get to see that other person enjoy it. If they do, because sometimes they probably don't. But if they enjoy what you like, and you can see that look on their face of joy and excitement and genuine enthusiasm. To live for each other is to live with each other. To enjoy the finer good things in life. Now, for some of you that are in relations, or whether it be a friendship, it works either way, because you have that one best friend that I guarantee you can talk about all the adventures you guys used to do for years on end. And, this is the part that some people, I think, forget, that I want to help you out a little bit. Whether it's a platonic relationship or a romantic relationship. To live is to not forget the things that you once did that were the zest of life, but to keep doing them. Maybe you can't do it the same way you used to, but you can find some way. For romantic relationships, they always say, don't stop doing what you did to get them in the first place. Don't stop doing what you did to quote unquote entice them, to bring them into your, for lack of a better word, clutches. Don't stop doing the very thing that made them fall in love with you. For friends, don't stop doing the things that, you know, you guys used to do years ago. Have that sleepover again. Brandy, you don't understand. We're in our 30s and 40s. It doesn't matter what age. This is the time now the age doesn't matter. it, it doesn't matter. You can still do that stuff. You may not do the same stuff that you used to, but you can still do some of the things that you guys enjoy. Reliving the past, whether it be during our sleepover when we all got back together, we did face masks. We did face masks and we watched TV. We had Chinese food. We just had a grand old time. We didn't have to do anything crazy. We just enjoyed being together in that moment. That's what it's all about. It's about being together. It's about being in communion with one another. Especially when you get married, you're going to have to enjoy those times of being together. Until death do you part, for better or for worse, for sickness or for poor. I'm sorry, for rich or poor, for sickness or in health. All these different things. That's what the vows really mean. Can you two be together when the times are good and bad? Because like I said before, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes life is good, sometimes life is bad. But you cannot throw it away in the bad moments. Life is not going to be all sunshine and roses. Sometimes things are going to get rough. And regardless of what kind of situation of relationship that you're in, whether it be platonic or romantic, there's always a way to work it out. There's always a way to make it better and talk it through. Now, I know there's certain situations where, things like that, maybe it can't happen. But in those non-extreme situations, I just want to simply say, you know what? You never know. You never know what just being in the moment can do for each other or for all of you. Some things get healed when it comes to getting back together. Some things get healed up. Whether it's involving the relationship or maybe things in your external life. Things start to get healed up. I think that's what one of the things my friend said this week. She's like, "Oh man, this is healing. Just to be in the same room with you guys, laughing and chatting like old times. You don't understand the healing properties a moment like that can have for somebody." And then lastly, the final event I had this weekend was a family reunion, which I learned I haven't been to in years, which I'm shocked and a little appalled. The fact that it's been, I think, almost 10 years since I've been to the family reunion. And it was in that moment when I got to the family reunion that, I went there, I saw my cousins and aunties and uncles and family and brothers and such, that even though I've seen these folks before countless times, it was so good seeing them again that we got to catch up on so much, that I got to learn so much about my family. Also, I've learned that I'm old. I'm old because there's so many people that have grown up. And I'm like, what happened to the time? Time moves fast. When you don't notice it, time moves fast. And then all of a sudden, here I have got cousins that are almost my age now. And I'm like, no, you were a kid when I last saw you. Don't do that. Get back down there. But then you start to reconnect with family. Maybe you haven't seen them in a while. Maybe you see them on occasion. But to live To live is to see generations of your family succeed and exceed. There's so many things and I'm not going to share them with you today in this episode because there's so much, but there's so many things that I've learned about my family that I can actually say now that I can go somewhere public for the masses to see, and then I could actually go to there and point and show you where me, little old me, Brandon, is at in history. See this right here? This is me. This is my bloodline. This is where I started. It is so cool that I can be able to say that and be like, you know what? My family is right here. And I don't know about you, but that gave me the bolster to want to continue on and live. To live not just to make a name for myself, but to live to show the bloodline of my family in history throughout the years, throughout the generations, to continue the story. That's what living is about. It's continuing the story. You, in this moment, right now, are writing a story of your life. You may not have it down physically, but you are writing a story of your life. And each day is a chapter that is added to the story. And there are so many people that are involved in your story and in your upbringing, especially your family. Man, we can see so much of how you are as a person just by seeing your family. Seeing where you've come from, seeing your roots, seeing your heritage, seeing everything. Your story is written in the branches of the generation that is your family tree. And every day, the vines and the branches and the roots continue to grow. And the question in this moment I want to ask you that just came to me all of a sudden, that's crazy, is what does your story look like? I feel like that's going to be another real life talk, but we don't have time to get into it today. But let me just ask you that question. What does your story look like? How have you lived? Can I open this book? And I please understand, I'm expecting to see good chapters, bad chapters, worst chapters, and best chapters. Trust me, if you saw my story, you would see so much that we'd have to probably do a trilogy. We're probably on book 2 right now, but and I'm only so many years old. I'm not going to tell you, but anyway. How have you lived? What has your story looked like? Can I tell you one thing? If you're listening to this right now, your story's not over. It's not done. There's still so many pages and chapters to be written. How do you want your story to look like? How do you want your story to end? Today is the day to write a new chapter. Today is the day to write a new page. And how you want that story to look is how, from this day forward, you live. There are trips that are still waiting to be taken. There are experiences that are still waiting to be had. There are still friends you have yet to meet. Shoot, there's still that person you haven't met yet. It's all still out there waiting for you to explore, to discover, to write down. You can't stop living. Not until God has called you from this great green earth can you stop living. You've got to live for you. You got to live for your friends, your loved ones, your family. You've got to live. You can't stop here. So I hope that this message resonates with somebody today, this little talk, it gives them the bolster to live, to keep moving forward, to keep pressing on. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, you've got to keep living. You owe it to your story to just keep on living. I hope today that you will live life to the fullest, and I hope that you will do everything in your power to keep writing that book, to keep expanding those chapters, and just live. Enjoy life. Take it, run with it, expand with it, grow with it, be with it. Have a great time. Some days are going to be sunny, some days are going to rain, some days are going to pour, and then some days are going to be the best gosh darn days you've ever had. But all in all, at the end of the day, until your time has come, don't stop living. And this has been a Real Life Talk. I love each and every single one of you, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. I hope you live every day to the fullest. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing, not a darn thing, you can do about it. Until then, I'll see you next time. Love you, kids. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed today's Real Life Talks with Brandon. I love getting to sit with you guys and have real life conversations with you all, and I want you to be part of the conversation as well. So if you have any topics you want to talk about, even if you have a question, make sure to comment on our Facebook page, or make sure to leave an email at kid.beege, that's kid.beege@gmail.com. We'd love to have a conversation or even read some of your questions live on the air. It's so awesome when we can all come together and have a real life talk.